Hi, and welcome to Paper Route Scrapbooking. I'm Nadine, and today I'm sharing the kit that I'll be using for the Whole Kit and Caboodle YouTube hop. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing the kit that I will be using for a YouTube hop called the Whole Kit and Caboodle with my friend Ginger over on Ginger's Corner and some of her friends. The aim of this hop is to share how we each go about using up an entire collection kit. So the kit might be something that we purchased from the store, so that's where I started here. Or it could be something that we created on our own. So somebody might just pick a patterned paper that they like and make a kit with that. So I will take you through the steps of how I go about using up a kit, and I'm sure that each person who's participating in the hop has different ideas on how to do this, so I hope you'll go into the description box down below and check out that one-click playlist where all of us are going to be contributing to the same playlist, a collaborative playlist where you can watch through all the videos of how people are doing this. Okay, so this is where I'm going to start. I'm going to start by sharing the kit that I plan to use up, which is this collection by Photoplay. It is called Music Notes and it is by Tracy Smith. I don't see a date on this collection, but it's fairly new. Within the last year, I would say I purchased this. And it is obviously music themed. So the cover paper isn't anything that I am going to be using, but I thought I would show it in my kit share. Then there is this sticker sheet that I'm planning to use up. So one of my goals will be to use up all the stickers from this sticker sheet. The next goal will be to use all of the papers from this collection, okay? So I also grabbed out some papers that I had stored away that were music themed. Okay, so let's start with, I'll share with you the patterned papers from this particular collection kit. So this first one is called Sharp Color. And it is a black music note pattern. So it's black with colorful music notes on it. And then this one is kind of a plaid pattern with a multicolor of all the colors that are in the collection. So that's a really good paper to tie things together with, I think. Hey? All right, so that's the first paper. This is the next paper. It is called Instruments, and it has what it says, all the instruments in that same color palette. I love the color palette for this particular collection too, so that's awesome. And then on the other side is a wood grain. And with Photoplay, you get 2 of every paper, okay? So there's that one. And then this next one is the cut apart cards and blank music sheet. So it's almost ready for the composer to write their music on. And this one's called Your Classic. And then the next one is called Staccato, and it has this beautiful tone-on-tone music note paper in the dark red kind of maroon color. And then on the back side, or on the, I guess this is probably the A side, is this like, it's got this beautiful little music note with a book in the center, and then it's got words around the outside in kind of a grid pattern. It's really different. I really like this one. Okay, and then the next paper is called Sing, and it's that same tone-on-tone music note paper, but in the blue, it's like a steel blue kind of color, and then it's got this geometric pattern on the back with all of those colors again. Again, really great for tying in all the colors to your layout, right? This one is your classic music note paper, and on the other side is this script paper, black on white. So we have white with black print and black with white print. This one just says just a note, and it's repeated and has little music notes in between the written lines. So that's really fun, different kind of way to do a script paper. I love it. So that is the collection kit that I'm planning to use up, but I'm also hoping to use up these random papers that have just been kind of collecting over time with just, you know, I do have music in my life, I promise. So, but it's not like a big part of my life. I don't, you know, have children who take music classes or singing or dance or anything like that. So, but I do have, I think, enough photos of musical events to use up this collection kit. So that's my goal. So this first paper that I plan to add to this and see how it ties in so nicely is this black with white music notes. I think this was a recollections paper, but I cut off the branding strip probably because it doesn't quite fit into my like tray thing that I have for 12 by 12s, because those recollections one are always just a little bit too tall for where I store my papers. This is another really thin one. This one came from a collection pack that I had purchased for it was for theater, and it had this beautiful music paper. This is the only paper from that collection I haven't used yet, so I threw it in with my other musical type papers. And then these ones are all from DCWV, and I thought maybe they were from a paper pad, but they have this like sticker on the back, so I think they were purchased as open stock at some point, but not by me. I picked these ones up at a garage sale. That's why I'm not really 100% sure of where they came from, but they do say DCWV on the branding at the back. Is there a year on here? No. Okay, so what I have from these is this I have two of these papers that are rock star, superstar kind of craft with that kind of red in the corners. And I have two of these, which is this gold skull and crossbones hearts rock star paper from that same collection. And then this one has the silver metallic instead of the gold. And I have two of those as well. Okay. So I have some ideas for this one. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with these ones, but I'm sure I'll think of something. And so this is the kit that I want to use for my Whole Kit Caboodle challenge this month. So I'm really excited about this challenge. I hope it's going to be lots of fun. I feel like though, in order to use this up, I don't have any I didn't buy any of the things that go with it. So what I did was I went into my collection. Is it a collection? It's an inventory. It's a stash. I don't know. What does everybody else call it? I went into my scrap room and found other supplies that I think will help me use up this collection. So I have a whole variety of things, but let's start with papers. So in order to beef the papers up, I did grab this, which is just a little stack of music note paper that sits on my shelf with my script papers. So I don't feel like I need to use these up. They're not part of the bash the stash kind of part of the Whole Kit and Caboodle, but I thought that if I needed something to support using up this collection, this might help me. If I don't even use a single one of these, that's fine. They get used usually at Christmas time. So that's just there in case I need it. The other thing I'm going to add, again, I don't feel like I need to use these up, but I thought I needed some kind of basic papers to do things like matte photos, you know, maybe be like the background edge of my paper. So maybe I'm going to put, I don't know, maybe that red tone-on-tone music note paper on top of this blue. So these papers, I chose the colors based on, where is it? Based on this paper. So do you see how I chose the colors for this based on this grid paper? So they coordinate really well, with the exception of the brown and the black and white. The brown and the black and white I got from the wood grain paper that's in the collection, as well as those two final papers that were in the back that had the just a note and the music notes. So I grabbed a black and white to coordinate with that. And then this one has the turquoise dots that are in this paper, but the brown is the same brown as what's in the wood grain. So that's kind of how I chose these kind of basic papers just from my rainbow. I have like to my left, I have a shelf of just papers like in rainbow order. Okay, so that's where these are from. And again, I don't feel like I need to use these up in order to feel like I've completed the collection, but they're here to help me use the collection. Okay, so that's the first thing I grabbed to beef up this kit in order to get all of those used. So I'm just going to set these inside of the same Making Memories 12 by 12 paper holder that I have pulled for this series. And this is where I'm going to store my papers and my 12 by 12 sticker sheet during this Whole Kit and Caboodle series. So this is where I'm going to be pulling from, but this is where the things will be sitting next to my desk, will be neatly tucked away in here, at least in the beginning, because we all know that once I get started, it's not going to look like that. What? Now, I have way more musical things than I thought I had. Let me show you. So first of all, I started making a little pile of like buttons and things that I felt like matched. And then I ended up with so much that I went looking for one of these, which I had an extra one. It was actually in the laundry room because I was going to sort tiny little tool bits into it and haven't gotten around to that. So I was like, I'm stealing this back and I'm going to use it for my Whole Kit and Caboodle. So look at this. Is that crazy or what? So I have these like little music buttons. These buttons, these are also buttons. I have actual like treble clef brads. What? I know. And then this is just some metallic stars that I thought would go nicely with those pages that had the other metallics on it. I grabbed a few. This is where I started. I was like, I could just grab buttons in the same color scheme as what we have there. So I started with these buttons. These just red that matched. It's a really hard red to match, so I was excited to see something in my stash that matched that color. And then these two little hearts also matched, so I pulled them out. I had these acrylic pieces from Close to My Heart. I don't know if I'll use these or not, but I figured some of them might go. It depends on what I decide to scrapbook with those papers. So there's some kind of flowery things that I'm not sure about, but I can probably make arrows and bow ties and stuff work with these layouts. So I threw all of those in that color that matched in there. I have a few bigger things here. I have this acetate set of like glasses that I thought might go. I pulled it. I thought if I don't use it, that's fine. It just kind of seemed like it might fit. Then I have these three, I don't know even where these are from, but they're like little tiles, I guess, that I thought might work nicely with my black and whites. I have this camera in the gold foil that I thought might go nicely with some of that. And then I have these three blank chipboard, like raw chipboard arrows that I thought I could maybe use. And then I have music note paper clips, which, can somebody tell me, I took music as a student when I was like in high school, even like junior high, high school, elementary school. I took singing, I took choir, I did musical theater, I took band, I played an instrument. And I'm looking at these and I'm like, I feel like this is an eighth note. But I also feel like this is an eighth note. Am I wrong? Is that both an eighth note? I don't know. It's been such a long time that my brain, I feel like, and then also I feel like this is a 16th note, but is this also not a 16th note? Like, I feel like I'm a little bit crazy. But anyway, maybe somebody out there has a better musical knowledge than I do. So I have these music note paper clips, which I thought were super fun. I didn't grab any sequins, but I thought these tiny punched stars might be fun. So I threw those in there that I'll use if I feel so inclined. I grabbed some little viewfinders that I thought might go nicely on my layouts. And then some little wood veneer pieces when I went looking, and I found all these music notes. So I'm like, yes, but I don't want it to be just music notes. I want to have other things on there. And then I grabbed these cute little tags. Look how fun are these. So these tags and then this acrylic star. So I have this little kit for my whole kit and caboodle. So even though I didn't buy the things to go with it, I feel like I have a lot here. And this is not all I have. Okay, don't be too shocked when I pull this over, but I also have this container. Okay, so we'll go through and I'll show you what's here, but this is how it's being stored, is in this little, I think this is supposed to be for makeup, but I of course use it for crafting because I'm not a makeup person. It takes me about 35 seconds to put the tiny bit of makeup that I actually wear on. Okay, so at the back of that little kit, I didn't feel like I had anything to cluster base with, so I grabbed some items that I thought would make good cluster bases. I grabbed a doily, just one, and then this little stack, because they were all stuck together, of these little, I thought these were fun for music pages. And then I have this little stack. Obviously I'm not going to use all of this, but I didn't want to separate all the things. I just wanted to keep them together. So these little like torn notebook pages I thought might be nice cluster bases. Same with these frames, might be nice. I only have one of these tags left from Calvin Ball. I'm like, this has to get used, right? Why do I only have one? And then this single die that somebody sent me, die cut viewfinder reel. Then I still had these chipboard frames that I had pulled out for Calvin Ball that hadn't been used yet. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe those can get used on this. And instead of my 49 and Market frames, I grabbed these ones. And this orange color is, I'm not going to pull the papers out again, but it is one of the colors that's in that collection kit, which is why I was like, maybe I can use these ones instead. And they are not, so this one is, these are like, I don't know how you would say it, kind of like the scraps of my film strip stash. So like this is left over from something, this is left over from something, obviously cut in half. And then I have these die cut pieces that somebody gave me. So they're just kind of like a mix and match little pocket of goodies. So I thought maybe I can use up those, or at least some of them. Then I had, let's go over here with these. I had these two sticker sheets from what looks to be like Michael's or something, Stick Out EK Success. I obviously got them from like a yard sale or something. They were priced differently. And then I have these are old Close to My Heart pieces, acetate pieces, and I thought maybe these could get used. I've used the collection that went with these, so these have been floating around loose in my paper stash. And then I found this. Like, when did I buy this even? I don't recall buying this, but it's from Wild Whisper from 2019, and it is a die cut pack all about music. So it has all of these pieces in there. I figured I can probably get those used. So my goal is also to use up the majority of what's in this, but if I don't use it all, that's okay. I also found this stamp from Close to My Heart, which has Live in the Moment, Treasure Now, but it has those music notes in it, and it was from the same collection as where these came from, I believe. So I was like, when I saw this, I'm like, oh yeah, that goes with that. So I feel like I can use them together. So yeah. And I think that's what it's called. Just Be You, it's called. Okay. I grabbed a stencil. I didn't have anything with music notes or anything like that, but I thought stars went really well. So I grabbed that. Now I had these random flair that may or may not make it onto pages. I just thought that I should try to use some of the flair that I noticed I have when I was doing Calvin Ball. And so I threw a set in to see if I can get those used up. Then I have, these are the only enamel dots I picked, and they are the gold and silver. I feel like there's a couple of extra other things in there, but I feel like I can get these on those layouts and maybe use up this pack. We'll see. But in terms of like tiny embellishments for finishing touches, I thought those wood veneer, like the wood veneer music notes, that's what I'm trying to say. And then those little punched out stars. Then I have these puffies, which I thought would be fun to add. And I grabbed some bling. And instead of pulling a pack of like colored enamel dots, I grabbed these wine colored brads in 2 different sizes. So maybe I can get some of those on some layouts. Okay, so I'm going to stick this back into that back pocket on my little storage thingamajigger. Then I have these 2 little mini iris container doodads. One is holding black and white chipboard. These are from Vicky Booten. I think Print Shop maybe. And I think maybe a couple are from Where To Next. I also have a stack of chipboard frames in this little box. So I thought maybe I could get some of those used. They would help me beef up my kit. I went through my color boxes that look very much like this. But they're all organized by color, and I grabbed the colors that are in the collection and I just pulled out some things that I thought matched. So like some viewfinders, tabs, labels, just things that I think could be very generic. I have some stamped pieces that I thought could go, more viewfinders. Tickets, I feel like tickets are a good addition to things that are about, you know, music. That rocked. I had to grab that. I feel like that'll go really well with that silver page. And then I grabbed the other 2 pieces that were stored with that. You're a Star. I thought that would go really nice too. Best Day Ever could definitely go on one of those. Some more of those big stamped tickets. I think those must be a close to my heart stamp from my mom's stash that I probably stamped and took home with me so that I would have them. A couple little camera pieces. And then I had this, it was a raw chipboard piece, but it looks like it's been inked at some point. So it matched really nicely with this ink color. So I thought maybe I could get that on there. And then I have this little stack of, look at these. These were in my black and white container. I'm like, they have music notes. It's so cute. I did grab 1 clock and I figured maybe I could get that in there. More viewfinder, and these are just die cut pieces from dies that I own that were just in my black and white. I thought they looked really fun and rock and roll. Some words. I grabbed a stack of tickets from my little ticket bucket that coordinated, and I love these ones. They all seemed to match with that collection kit, and they are from a swap. My friend Kathy made them, so that's kind of fun. I haven't seen Kathy in the group much. I wonder where she disappeared to. And then we have some more cameras, and I found this radio in the teal one. I'm like, that could definitely go with music. And then some other just like word phrase kind of things that I thought were a good fit for the music notes collection kit. So these are not things that I feel like I have to use up. They're things that I think can help me make nice layouts with the collection I picked. Okay, does that make sense? I also grabbed 3 rolls of washi. I felt like the crowns went really nice, as did the gold stars on white gold stars on black and gold dots on white washi. So those are in there. I chose a color of twine, and I was like, if I just have one color of twine sitting next to me, then that's what I'll use anytime I make a tag. And then I have these 2 music note punches. They're really super old, and they still work though. I just used them during Calvin Ball. They were fine. And so I put them in this little container because I'm like, that can totally get used. Then I was thinking title ideas. So when I was looking at my wood veneer, I thought, you know what? I can start with wood veneer. And even though, so this goes with something else. Hang on. I'll go over that in a bit. So when I went looking for my chipboard, this was in there. I'm like, I could probably use that as a title. When I went looking for my wood veneer, I found this one. I thought I can probably use that. And then I grabbed some other words that I thought could be part of a title. So maybe my title won't be simply, but maybe it would be simply the best, right? Something like that. And maybe my title won't be peace, but maybe it'll be peace, love, and rock and roll, right? So I grabbed a bunch that I thought I could turn into a title if I mixed it with something else. Here for the memories, I thought might be a good one. Live, laugh, love, I thought might be fun. Best day ever. Create beautiful noise. Noted. Do simply noted. I feel like that would be a cute title for a music layout, right? Note, like kind of punny, I guess. And then time. So I thought any of these could be mixed in with other words to make a title. Okay, so that's where I went with my titling ideas. And how did I have this? I don't want to wreck it. I think the taller ones were stored in the bigger. Okay. And then I had this piece I thought I could probably use. If not, that's okay. It'll just go back in my wood veneer box. And then recently, and to add to the titling ideas, I also grabbed this that I'm kind of hoping to use. This is another thing that I'm like, it would be nice to get this used up. So it's a thicker set. It was a huge thicker set, but it's mostly come down to being just like numbers and punctuation. There's a few letters in here. And so in order to help me use up some of those letters, I grabbed my other black foam thickers and thought maybe I could do something about that to get this used up. So beefing up this by grabbing these. Yeah. So there's that idea that I had. Thought I might show you some of those kind of ideas I had. And then I wanted to show you that over on Ginger's Corner recently, we had a swap. It was a partner swap. And I had made my swap items to coordinate with this collection because I was going to use it for my class. But I didn't make that class because paper sold out on me. So I had already cut these out to go with this collection. So I was like, there we go. There's one title right there. Hey. And it's got all these music notes that came with. So this kit was from Miss Kate Cuttables. And so it had all these music notes already in there. So I just kept cutting them and putting them together and saving them. And then these were my two. So the thing was to make a title, 2 embellishment pieces, and then a journaling block. I made a journaling block for my partner, but I didn't make one for myself. But I did make the pieces for myself. So there's that. That coordinates really nicely. And so I'm excited to use these on a page. And then and this goes with it too. This was part of it as well. This was just kind of a bonus piece that I made for my partner, and I made one for myself. And then I had and then what my partner made me was this. And doesn't it match nicely? It's going to go really nicely with this collection too. Isn't that cool? And this was the journaling card that she made me. So I don't know if I'll use this as it is, but I might deconstruct it and put my own plaid paper in there just so that it matches better with what I'm doing. I don't know. I will see. But I really love it. So I'm so excited that this is also going to match with what I had going on in this collection, or in this YouTube hop. And then my friend Joanne sent me extras from her music note swap, which is so sweet. I was so excited. So I have these, and they also, of course, black and white. They're going to go in there too. So that is my super fun kit that I have put together for this whole kit and caboodle in order to tackle this one paper collection. But this is how I would do it, although if I'm being 100% honest, I would probably not organize it like this. I would just keep pulling from my room. But because I'm going to be doing it on camera and I'm going to be doing it all together, all at once, to use up this collection, I really think that showing you how you can store a collection while you're using it is super valuable, especially if you are going to be going to a crop, or you're going to be, you want to sit down and hammer it all out at once. I think this is a really good way to go about it. So like having something to hold your paper, having something to hold your embellishments. Like, wouldn't this be great at a crop if this is all you had to bring? Right? So that's really super fun. And then having something to hold your little things. So I'll be honest, this started out as just one of these. But then I was like, there is so many things in here. I will never find anything because they're so tiny. And then I was like, you know what? I have that bead container that I was going to use for screws and nails and stuff. And I'm going to go steal it back. So I did. And so here it is. So anyways, but yeah, like that just worked out. Oops, sorry, that was noisy. That worked out so nice, right? So here's my little kit and caboodle. Like, wouldn't that be awesome at a crop just to use that, like have this, I'm going to use up this. And then you don't have to bring the kitchen sink. You just bring the stuff that you're going to use for that collection. So that's my idea. That's it for today. My next video, which should go up tomorrow, but we will see. Depends how organized I am. The next video is going to be of me making 6 page kits, because my plan originally, well, first of all, Ginger's doing 6 page kits also. And I don't know what the other girls are doing, if they're going to follow that same organizational plan. But for me, I would have made 6 layouts for my class. That's usually what I do. I do 6 layouts in one class. And so I was going to make 6 layouts with this. So that's what I'm going to start with, because I already have the photos in mind and kind of have a general idea of what I'm going to do with that. So I'm going to make 6 page kits out of this large kit. Okay, so if you are interested in watching me put together some page kits, please come back and check out that video next. But yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you being here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I will get back to you just as soon as I can. I hope you all have a great day. Bye for now.